Christina.
I'm Catherine.
I'm Lisa.
I'm Amy.
I'm Lauren.
I'm Danny.
And we're Cimorelli.
So we're gonna do a video that has been requested a million times. People have been DMing me on Twitter like a million times asking for us to do an advice video, and a video where we talk about self-esteem, insecurities, self-worth, all that stuff that everyone struggles with. And people have sent us like their deepest, darkest secrets and their biggest insecurities and their personal stories, and it really has touched all of us. So we wanted to make this video and tell you guys what we wish we could tell all of you, putting it into one video so we can just tell all of you guys. So this is our video on self-worth. Also, make sure you check out our new EP Renegade in iTunes now.
You have to learn the difference between feeling like something and being something. Just because you feel like a loser doesn't mean you are a loser. It's just like, just because you take one ugly picture doesn't mean you are ugly. Like, maybe you try to do something and then you failed at doing it, but that doesn't mean you are a failure just because you failed at doing one thing. It just means you failed at doing one thing, but you can always try again. It doesn't mean you are a failure. So next time you feel something negative about yourself, you have to ask yourself, is this just a feeling or is it a fact?
People think that their self-worth is tied to something or many things. They think that it is tied to appearance, maybe, or achievements, or things. So they think, if I have that car, or if I look like this, or if I've achieved this, then I raise my self-worth. I'm worth more, I'm more valuable. And on the flip side, if I look like this, I'm worth less. If I make a mistake, I'm worth less. People have this idea that their self-worth just changes. They can bring it up or they can bring it down. But in reality, you don't change your self-worth. Every human life is valuable and equally valuable. So everyone was born being extremely valuable already, and you don't have to try to do anything to change it because you can't change it. You're already valuable. So you don't have to believe the lie that you are not worth anything. You're always valuable. You always have been, and you always will be.
I think one of the most important things you need to know in life is that you are not alone. You're not the only person who feels insecure, and you're like this girl who is just so sad, and oh no, that girl's so pretty and she probably doesn't feel insecure about herself. That girl's so smart, she gets such good grades. That boy's so good looking, he probably doesn't feel bad about himself. But it's a lot more common than you think. Feeling insecure is a very, very common thing. And no matter how pretty or how smart or however, whatever someone is, it does not mean that they're not insecure, because some people are just really good at hiding it. I feel really insecure most of the time. Christina probably feels really insecure most of the time. Your friends, your family, literally everyone has something that they're insecure about. So I think that's the most important thing you need to remember, is that you are not the only one.
You don't need the whole world to be attracted to you. It's okay if not everyone finds you attractive, because you don't need the whole world to be attracted to you. You're not gonna date everyone. At least, I don't think, I hope not. Maybe. And you also don't need the whole world to like you in general. Like, there are a lot of people out there. I used to hate tomatoes, now I love them. Some people love them, some people hate them. But everyone has to like tomatoes. They still grow either way. They don't really care. Oh, tomatoes killing it. Especially organic ones. One of the biggest changes in my life happened when I was probably around 17 or 18, maybe 19. I started really thinking about how it is that I talk to myself, like in my mind. Like, you know, we all have that inner voice. Usually it's a very like critical, harsh voice that tells you like, oh, you're never gonna be good enough. Why'd you mess up again? You can never get anything right. And I started to really like think about that voice, because I know that it really affects everything you do, and even like how you see yourself and how happy you are. And I started trying to reframe the voice to how I would talk to my very best friend. Because when I think about the way that I am to my friends, I'm usually really encouraging and I'm really like kind to them, and I try to like be a light in their life and give them advice that I feel like will be valuable to them. And then when I would talk to myself, I would just be like, wow, you messed up again. Like what a weird discrepancy between the two. So when you stop talking to yourself like you're an enemy, and when you start thinking of yourself as a friend, then your whole life changes. And not only like the way that you are more forgiving of just your actions, but also your body too. Like when I stopped being so hard on my body and just trying to think of it like my friends, like I think my friends all have great bodies and they're all different sizes and shapes and there's all sorts of flaws and stuff, but I just see them as beautiful little imperfections. So I started thinking of myself as I would a friend and talking to myself as I would a friend, and ever since then my life's been a lot easier and my self-esteem has definitely gotten better.
I used to take what people said about me really seriously and be like, oh my gosh, if this person said this about me, that is so horrible, it must be true, I can't believe they think that about me, I must be whatever that is. And then something just kind of clicked inside me. I think with all of the internet opinions, it really clicked inside me because I was like, wow, if I'm gonna have this many opinions about myself, I need to start making some changes to my mindset or I'm gonna go crazy. And I started to realize, why do I care? I started to think about the people saying it, especially online. That's a whole different thing, but I just think of a person just sitting there like typing up a comment or an opinion and I'd be like, it's just a person sitting there. It is not a big deal. I have opinions on people. I can say, wow, her hair looks weird or something. Does that mean she needs to think her hair looks weird? No! She can think it looks great while I think it looks weird. And she can go on living her life perfectly happy. And that's when I realized I can do the same thing. If someone says, Christina, you are really, like something negative, you're really annoying, then I'll be like, okay, you think that, that's fine. I actually think I'm pretty awesome, so that didn't do anything to me, unfortunately. And you can make that choice, which is really cool. When you make that choice, your whole life will change.
Just because someone says something doesn't make it true. Like, I could call Christina a purple cow, and she would not be a purple cow just because I called her one. The act of saying something out loud does not make it true or false, it's just words. Some people live their whole lives choosing to believe the things that people say about them, and they take it to heart and they make it like a piece of who they are when it was never true in the first place. And like they live their whole life thinking I'm this when really they're not. They're this over here. They think they're this, but they're not.
Everyone is a beginner at some point. Everyone who's like professional, expert, whatever, started out knowing nothing about whatever they know everything about now. So if you're like, oh, I want to try something, you're like, oh no, I'm too scared because I don't know how to do it. And do you think they came out of the womb being an expert? No. So allow yourself to have the confidence to start whatever it is you want to do today, because everyone starts as a beginner and there's nothing wrong with that.
Don't be so hard on yourself, you know? We have such little information about so many things that we make a lot of mistakes in life. And the thing is, when you make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. Like, Thomas Edison didn't cry every time he made a mistake well, actually, maybe he did cry. But he tried thousands of times until he made that light bulb, you know? And where would we be? In the dark. Without the light bulb. And so when we make mistakes, it's not like some tragic part of us has died or something. It's just something that helps us gather more information to make the right decision next time. So basically, when making mistakes, we make ourselves better. And when we lose things, we usually gain more than what we've lost.
You can decide to care what someone thinks or not care, because really, if you think about it, okay, someone's saying something negative about you. What makes what they're saying so special and important? They're just one other person just like you. You're both the same thing. So why is what they say more important than what you say? Just because they say, oh, you are this or that or whatever, it doesn't even matter. It's just their opinion, which doesn't even matter. Especially if you don't even know them or barely even know them, then why would you even care?
You know, I hear a lot of my friends, or just people in general that I know, say things like, oh, I want to be a singer, or oh, I want to be the editor of the magazine, or this one girl I know, she's like, oh, I really want to be a singer, but I could never do that. So I was like, wait, what? I could never do that. Someone has to do it. There's got to be someone in the world who's going to be the editor of the magazine. There's going to be someone who's going to be the top photographer in the world. There's got to be someone who is going to be the best at something. So why can't it be you? What makes you so different from everyone else? I think that everyone has the same capabilities. They just put their hard work into it and they really try. So I don't get, it makes me so mad when people say that, because it's like you have so much potential and you can literally do anything, but they just like put these barriers on themselves, like, oh, I can't do that because this reason, which doesn't actually make sense, but you can do it and someone has to do it, so why can't it be you?
It's literally fine to make a mistake. It doesn't make you a bad person at all. We all make mistakes, and it's more in our intentions than what actually happens, I think. Today I was like, Catherine, I have oddly shaped calves. And she's like, would you tell your best friend she had oddly shaped calves? And I'd be like, no, I definitely would not tell my friend she had oddly shaped calves.
Never lose hope. I think that there are so many possibilities of things that could happen overnight, and you could wake up tomorrow and you could realize something that will completely change your life, and you just really need to keep that faith inside of you that things can change and things can get better fast. Things can happen overnight. It happens all the time. And if you lose your hope, then you're totally taking away the possibility of something amazing happening tomorrow, or the next day, or the next day. It could take time, or sometimes they happen really quickly. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, so you can't give up tonight because you never know what's going to happen in the morning. So don't give up.
Emotions are powerful things, but you can't let them overwhelm you or overpower you. Usually your emotion is there as a guide. Like, if you're really angry, it's usually because something happened that crossed a boundary. So you have like a boundary of respect. And when you allow someone to disrespect you, then you usually are angry, and you feel angry at them, but usually we're actually angry at ourselves because we are treating ourselves disrespectfully. So we have to be careful not to let our anger turn towards other people but not express it, because then it turns into resentment. But feelings are a really powerful thing, and they can be guides. So it's wise to trust your feelings, but then also there's a lot of feelings that don't necessarily serve us. For instance, toxic shame, which is feeling like you are bad. So not even saying like, oh, I did something bad, or like, oh, I messed up, but saying, I am bad, I am worthless, I'm never gonna be good enough. Those kinds of thoughts are the kinds of thoughts that lead to negative actions, things that'll be hurting you, things that won't serve you. You have to find the difference between positive feelings that are gonna help you, like maybe a feeling of anger that causes you to right a wrong or overcome an injustice in your life, or a feeling of sadness that causes you to take a break from your crazy busy life and take some time to nurture yourself and take care of yourself. But when you have a feeling of toxic shame, then you need to not let that feeling overcome you, because it's not real. It's totally distorted truth. You're not seeing yourself as you are. You are good, you are lovable, you have something to offer, you're a beautiful person. But when you're seeing yourself in this distorted way, you're not going to get anything done, and nothing productive will come from that. So why feel that way? There's nothing good that's going to come from that. Stop the toxic shame, but let your other positive feelings be your guides.
So it's really, really important to not lose hope. Even if you just have the tiniest bit of hope, you can grow that hope, because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow could be the day that literally changes your entire life. You know, you never know. And the chances are, if you feel horrible today, and you just sit there and you say, I feel horrible today, and you just sit in that moment and you sit in the sadness for a while, you're not going to feel horrible tomorrow, because you're going to get it all out today. And so tomorrow is always a brand new start. You know, it really is. I'm kind of lame.
Okay.
It's okay though.
Something that's really important is acknowledging the voices that are in your head, or the voice in your head, the thoughts in your head, and what they're saying. We all have this like negative voice in our head that says negative things, and one of the best things you can do for yourself is replace that with positive things. So it's like your inner critic. So when you do something and that voice says, wow, you screwed up, how could you do that, whatever, you go, no, 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 that was okay, it's okay that I did that, it's okay. You give it a more like loving voice, you replace it with that, you drown it out, you say, no, that's not true. So for instance, if I try really hard at something and I don't end up getting whatever it was, and I'd be like, wow, I can't believe you even tried. And then I'd be like, whoa, 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 I can't believe I just said that to myself. And I would backtrack and I would say, it's okay that it didn't work out. You tried, which is good. You should be proud of yourself for trying. As you're going throughout your day, start to really notice that negative voice in your head, and you might actually be surprised by how many rude things you say to yourself throughout the day. And when you hear them, stop the voice and replace it with something positive. It's not enough just to stop the voice. You have to also replace it with a positive thought. That's the really important part. So when you hear something, Say something nice to yourself instead. Be kind to yourself. You will notice a huge difference in your life if you do that. Start standing up for yourself, even if it's just in little ways. Little ways are just as important as big ways, and little things can lead to really big things. So when someone says something that you really disagree with or you think is wrong and you're scared to say something, just say something. See what happens. You kind of feel like, oh my gosh, if I stand up for myself right now, people are gonna like run away screaming or get mad at me or I'm not gonna have any more friends left, but it's not true. And you'll see that if you try it.
Printing out positive quotes and pictures is a really good idea because like in my wall then I have all these pictures in like this little collage over here, and I just went like on Tumblr and like through the internet and I was like looking at like positive quotes and stuff and seeing stuff that like inspired me, and then I just printed it all out, cut it all out and put it in this really cool collage on my walls, and every time I see it then it like reminds me of the things that I need to be reminded of. So just stuff that like really inspires you, just put it all around your wall so you can be inspired every day.
So one thing I've learned is that I'm scared of a lot of things, and if I didn't do things that I was scared of, I probably wouldn't do most things. So it's really important to do the things that you're scared of, like when Danny and Lauren make me drive them places. It's good for me to do that because I'm scared of driving most places, but I just do it and then I drive new places and then I get better. So when you do things that you're scared of, you face your fears and you get more confidence because you realize that what you're really scared of isn't that scary in the first place.
I'm a firm believer in environment and that your environment can profoundly affect you. I've always been a huge lover of beauty and I love like finding beautiful things and surrounding myself with them. So like a lot of times my friends will give me things like a candle that they made handmade, or like a journal or something like, or a picture of us together. And I surround myself in my room with things that remind me that I'm loved and that I have great friends. And then I'll hang up like Polaroids of me and my friends on my wall. And right now I even have like a vision board with all these positive words like happiness, joy, gratitude, success, peace. And I have pictures of the Bible, and I have pictures of companionship and love, just different things that represent positive aspects of a life that I would want to have. And when you surround yourself with those images, your mind will be dwelling on those positive things and you'll be bringing more of it into your life. So rather than having dark, negative things around you, which are going to bring you down, you should surround yourself with positive images that are going to inspire you to live a better life.
I would say start with little things. If if the waiter brings you the wrong food and you don't want to say it, just say, I ordered this, and they'll give you the right food. A lot of people are scared to do even stuff like that, but then it comes to like issues that are things that you really believe in. That's really important. And you can just say things in a respectful way. If you're just saying things in a kind, respectful way, most people are not going to be offended. And people who are offended at that, they have some issues they might work on. And you don't need to be offended by them being offended at you. So start standing up for yourself. Say what you believe. When someone crosses a line, let them know they crossed the line. Doing stuff like that is really important, and it shows that you respect yourself.
A big way that I get my feelings out is journaling, writing them down, literally writing them down, or just typing them up in my phone, whatever's like accessible to me at the time, because I definitely have a problem with like expressing myself. I don't just say things, oh, I'm so mad or I'm so sad. I just keep it inside, and I did that for a long time. And I finally learned that you need to get them out, and so journaling is a great way to do that. I just write, I start whatever's the biggest thing on my mind. I'm like, I'm so mad, or I feel like a hopeless wench, or whatever. I feel like a sack of flour, or whatever. And I start there, and I just write and write and write. I literally, it's just like thoughts. I just write them down, like, this happened today, it made me feel like this, and then I did this, and this went wrong, blah, blah. And I go through everything, and I write my feelings down really dramatically, and then, when I feel like I got it all out, then I switch it around. I'm like, okay, I gotta get out of this. So, and I go back through and I read it like, this is not true, this is not true, this is not true, this didn't actually happen, it's not that bad. And then I write down all the reasons why I was wrong, and why I'm actually good, and why there's hope, and, you know, a bunch of affirmations like, I am beautiful, I'm good, I'm kind, I'm smart, blah, blah, blah. The opposite of all the ways I was feeling before, and then I'm like, and this time I name and write the date.
put yourself out there. Do something that scares you every day. Even if it's something as simple as like texting someone and saying, hey, because sometimes that is really scary, but just do it if it's scary. Just do like little things that scare you each day, and then over time, things will be a lot less scary and you'll be more confident and you'll be able to put yourself out there more.
Be your #1 supporter. Sometimes it can be hard because you might only have one person who really supports you, or you might have no one. And what you really want is like a big support group that's going to support you in everything you do. But that's not always possible, and it's definitely not possible for everything that you go through in your life. There's a lot of things where I make a decision and I don't have very much support behind me, and I'm like, I have to trust my gut here. This is what feels like it's the right thing to do, and I have to just go for it. And a lot of times you might want to do something like crazy and people will all be like, that's dumb, why would you do that? You can't do that. You really think you could do that? People not only aren't supportive, but they meet you with like insane criticism. In those moments, you have to tell yourself, I don't need a bunch of people supporting me. I can do this by myself. I can be my #1 supporter and do this. If you have the support of yourself, that is all you need, and you are so far ahead of most people. Most people don't even have their own support because that's a confidence issue. They feel like, I don't deserve to be confident. Who am I to be confident in myself? Some like crazy thing. But if you can find that inner confidence, you can just give yourself a pep talk, believe in yourself, and just say, I can do this, and you can do anything. You have your support, you have everything. Thank you so much for watching. We really hope we can help some of you guys. Thank you guys so much. We love you guys, and good luck with everything.
Bye!